that's a rookie mistake. I would never recommend that to anyone. Cut this part out. I just don't know.
Hey everyone, welcome to this new episode of the Cybersecurity Web Podcast. I'm David, your host as always, and today we have the pleasure of having Lily as our guest. And I'm very excited for this conversation, but first of all, let me just ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. A little nervous, a little excited for this. It's just nice to talk to you.
Awesome. So I would just like to start by giving everyone like a brief summary of your journey, of your background, because you have a very interesting background, and I know that you already talked a lot about it on other podcasts and interviews, but everybody knows a bit of your background before we start this conversation. Can you please talk a little bit about that? I know that you started in sales and then marketing and then maybe student support and then penetration testing. I know maybe I'm not saying this in the correct order, so please go for it.
Try to make it quick. I got my degree in a completely unrelated field in exercise science, and I didn't want to do that at all. Mm-hmm. So I found myself actually in the tech space, but on the business side. So I started with sales. That wasn't my thing. And I actually found myself in customer support mm-hmm. for a company that does tech training, including pen testing training. Mm-hmm. So while I was there, I actually started studying pen testing on the side. And then I moved into a marketing role while I was at the company, still studying pen testing. And then about 7 months ago now, I got a role in pen testing. So I'm a junior penetration tester now.
That's awesome. I mean, that's very impressive. And how are you enjoying this new experience? How different it is from all the previous ones? I'm pretty sure it's very different.
Yeah, it is very different. It's a technical role versus business and operations. Mm-hmm. So, there are some similarities with that client interfacing portion. And, having to interact with people on the other end and anticipating how they will react to things. Yeah. But it's a technical role. My hands are on the keyboard far more than they were before.
Mm-hmm. So, and now that you're actually working or more on a technical role and as a junior penetration tester, do you receive a lot of messages from people just trying to get also their first opportunity, not only in cybersecurity, but also penetration testing specifically?
Yeah, I do get a lot of those messages. And, I find that these people, they're really excited about the space like I was not too long ago. And so I try to give attention to them as best as I can. Yeah. I will occasionally ignore a couple that are just like, "Hi, how are you?" Sorry.
Yeah, those are a bit
better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so and what advice would you give to those people that are actually asking you like proper things, like which certification should I do, or what course should I do? Should I get a degree? What kind of advice are you trying to, or are you actually giving to those people?
Well, as far as higher level education goes, I have my bachelor's degree, mm-hmm. so I would never steer someone away from that. I do get occasional messages where people are in their degree program for cybersecurity, and they ask me if they should drop out and just do a certification. No, I would never recommend that to anyone. I think, you're on a certain path that works for you,
Absolutely.
That's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone that, may already have their degree and may not want to go into a 4-year program again, I went for the EJPT, the eLearn Security Junior Penetration Tester certification. It is hands-on keyboard, so you do actually have to know a little something mm-hmm. to get certified in that. And as far as price goes, it's one of the cheaper ones on the market. Yeah.
I really recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't work for that company anymore, so I'm not getting anything for saying that. I would recommend it.
Well, I never worked, and I can say that it is an awesome certification. I also have it, so yeah. And,
and then,
oh, sorry, go.
I was just going to say CTFs are great for experience on the weekends, especially if you have a normal 9 to 5 job. CTFs are usually on the weekends, so you can get in and they usually have like a Discord channel or something, so you can actually work with other people toward a common goal.
Yeah. Well, when people ask me those kind of questions, I feel like that's so hard to give advice, because if you're just trying to get your feet wet on cybersecurity and learn a bit more about penetration testing, that's easy. So, well, you can just look at this content, you can look at this like online learning platforms, and you'll learn the basics and you can start from there. But then when they ask you, oh, how can I get my first job opportunity? That's a little bit harder for me, because it differs a lot from your country, from your personal background. You just talked a little bit about your personal background. I have my own as well. And I feel like this weight on my shoulder, like if I say something wrong, or let's just say I give a wrong advice, I feel like it's so hard. And I always say, just make your own path. Just start with something. Anything will lead to something. And John Hammond actually said that on our last episode. It just said, start with something, start learning, and just try to feel what gets you excited. I don't know. I don't like give like life advice to people I don't know much about. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It does make it kind of difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, what you said there, it depends on your background completely. And so it's hard to give someone this direct catch-all advice. But something that I do offer that I don't see a lot of other people mentioning a lot, it is your digital footprint. So employers are going to look you up, and they are going to try and understand who you are as a person, and if they like you, and if they would want to work with you, because that's reality, you know?
Yeah. So
I would recommend sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, so try not to say a bunch of crap on social media. That will help you.
Yes, there's that for sure. Don't be rude to people. Be nice always.
Yeah.
But also, you can control that and make yourself look good, you know?
So I don't know how you guessed, but my next question is actually about the EJPT. And I would like to ask you, how would you rate the importance of getting the EJPT when it comes to your career shift to penetration testing? And for the people that don't know, the EJPT is basically the e-learned security certification that stands for Junior Penetration Tester. So how would you rate the importance of getting the EJPT in that sense?
It was very important because even during my interview, my now boss brought it up that I have the EJPT, and they had to look it up. But we have another consultant at our company that actually has the EJPT, and he could speak from experience that yes, it does give you that the baseline skills, and it is a good certification. So, I was kind of fortunate that someone in the company already had it and could vouch for it. But yeah, I mean, it is a good certification that people are willing to vouch for.
Yeah, it is. And could you please describe what happened in your first exam attempt? Because I still remember you did this hilarious TikTok on studying like for a year for this exam. And then, yeah. So what happened there?
Yeah. The TikTok, yeah, I was like, I studied for a year for this exam, failed it.
Yeah.
So what happened was I did it on the weekend. Yes, I still had this full-time job that I was doing 9 to 5. So I started it on a Friday afternoon, and I did a lot of, enumeration and phone scanning and all of that Friday night. And then I spent all of Saturday doing the rest of the test. So the way that this test works is it is a hands-on lab environment. And that is how you get the answer to these 20 multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
And 15 questions is a pass. So at the end of Saturday, it was like 1 a.m. So it was Sunday morning. And I was just really tired. And I had just answered 15 questions. And I was like, that's probably good enough. I'm sure I got all of them right.
Yeah.
So I pressed submit and I failed because I got one wrong. And that was a 14 out of 20 fail.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Lessons learned. Oh, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll just fill out the rest. So I restarted it immediately, and it was all new questions. So that's a rookie mistake. Try to finish it entirely first.
Yeah.
I actually ended up doing it Sunday morning, and it took me like an hour to finish the rest of it, and I passed. And it just a rookie mistake.
Yeah. Well, your experience really helped me because I went for the 20 questions and I just submitted the exam once I had 100% sure that I had 18 correct answers. And because I feel like I would have done this exactly the same you did, because it was my first hands-on exam and I was very stressed because of that. And the exam environment was a little bit unstable, I would say. So I was a little bit even more nervous because of that. But once I saw your story about that exam attempt, I was like, okay, so once I got those first 15 answers, I shouldn't stop. I must not stop. I have to go for the 20. And yeah, I ended up passing with the 18. Yeah, it really helped me. And let me just commend you for this because that's an awesome way to deal with failure. I wouldn't say that was a failure because you learned from it and you actually helped someone with your experience. But that's a great way to celebrate that you actually attempted to do something and you put in a lot of effort and it ended up not paying off in the first try, but unfortunately you have a free retake for the JPT.
That's a point for that one. You get a free retake.
Well, this is not a commercial, but now it is, right?
Again, I'm getting nothing from this.
Yeah. Now, what is your opinion on this subject? Do you think it is easy to be a beginner or a junior penetration tester? Do you still remember how confusing things were when you just started?
Well, of course I do, because I'm still just as confused.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping you would say.
It's very easy to remember.
Yes.
It's easy.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time I saw like do you know HipSec? The guy who does like the Hack the Box walkthroughs. I remember the first time I watched a video from him. And I was like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, he was just like, oh, you do an nmap and then re-enumerate all scripts. And then he was talking and I'm sure he was like doing his best to teach those subjects to everyone. But as some random guy that just ended up seeing those things for the first time, I was like, what the heck is this? And I was very overwhelmed. And to this day, I still believe that that's something that we have to find some ways to try to help people that are just starting in this field because we need them. I don't know if that's the case on the States, but here in Portugal, we have been facing a lot of cyber attacks recently on very big companies here, and there's just not enough of us. And so how would you describe the importance of having like a supportive team, for example, and guidance from your colleagues, from your senior mates in this regard?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. And you know what? They are all the best sports too. They never mind answering a question. And you know, when I ask a technical question, or anyone on the team does, we feel very comfortable asking.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just stop what we're doing, share our screen, go through it, and really try to help the other person comprehend, because it's not only helping them, but it helps you as well when you're explaining things.
Yeah.
But it's meant so much because I have had a lot of questions, and my team is just so open and helpful, and will explain things like nothing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of difference, right? Let's say you were like starting as a consultant and you didn't even have a team, because that was my first experience. Yeah. When I started, my first opportunity was like with this cybersecurity company, and I was supposed to go and work for this client, and it was an on-site opportunity. So I was not working with my company, let's say. I was working on-site in the client's office. And I was there, and I joined like their internal cybersecurity team, but I was the only pen tester there for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah. And this went like for a year. And after a year, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need a team. I need like people to talk about stuff that actually understand what I'm going through. You know what I mean?
Right.
So after that, now in my workspace with my current employer, I have an awesome team, just like you said. I feel like there's a very positive culture there that people always feel free to ask whatever they want. And there's not like that fear of being judged. You know what I mean? Because I feel like there's, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like there's some weird thing that pen testers should know everything and always, and should be like very good from the beginning, and should have like all this background from software development. And sometimes that's just not the case. And today I feel like having those that support from our team, from my team and your team for you as well, is like life-changing. I don't know what I would do without them, to be honest.
And just like you said, like sometimes we have this thought that we need to know everything.
Yeah.
But with a team, you know, you are actually like you can know a lot more because you can fill those different aspects of pen testing too.
Absolutely. And as I was saying, in my workspace, I feel like everyone is there to support each other, and there's a very positive culture there. But on the internet, like that's another monster. And that's probably the reason why I don't stream or do anything live, because I don't know, I'm a bit afraid to be a noob in front of everyone. So what's your opinion on that? I'm a bit afraid of the trolls, if you know what I mean.
I am too. I can't say that I'm not. No, honestly, I feel very fortunate that I didn't get into, you know, the online InfoSec world until I feel like I really had my head screwed on straight. I was able to separate my priorities and what matters in life. And let's be real, InfoSec Twitter and all of this social media doesn't matter. It is not at the top of my priorities.
Good for you.
Right. So, I mean, when you think of that, like, in the grand scheme, these people aren't my family. You know, like, it's okay if they have a negative opinion here and there. But yeah, it does get to you sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a bit scary, to be honest. Well, every time I'm trying to record, let's say, a technical video, and it doesn't have to be that hard. Let's say it's just a try hack me room or something like that. I feel so nervous when I press the upload button, because I'm like, oh, let's just say I said something very, very like stupid. I mean, I'm finished, you know? Yeah, I feel very insecure with that. I feel like I have to do some work to overcome those self-doubt issues. But I don't know why I feel like that, because everyone feels like so supportive. I think I'm afraid of ghosts, to be honest, sometimes.
That's so funny. And do you think about it in the opposite? Like, would you feel that way if like your friend uploaded a video and maybe they did say something a little wrong, but then they said, oh, I did say that wrong? Like, I feel like you wouldn't discourage your friend from uploading.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to do this thing that I actually got from you and from other people. That is, I'm just going to make fun of my own mistakes, because that's a good way to go around it, right? And whenever I say something wrong in English, or I do like a typo on my keyboard or something, the first comment of my video is me saying, oh, look what I did here. And I just insert the time of the video for everyone to see, and that's helping. I don't know if that's the best way to go around it, but that's yeah, I don't know.
I think that works, right?
Yeah, it's working. It's working. I'm posting, so I guess it works.
we're all just trying to make it work somehow in
Yeah,
our mind.
for sure. Another thing that I would like to ask you, and I know you talked about this with John, in terms of pen testing in itself, what do you enjoy doing the most? And even if it's not on a real world scenario with a client and everything, in terms of web applications, mobile apps, Active Directory, red teaming stuff, I know that you're like aspiring to do some physical assessments as well. What excites you about all of those types of penetration tests? What are you most excited for in the future?
So of course I've mentioned the physical, and my boss has caught on. He's even like used that as like the carrot in front of the stick to be like, hey, if you do these, you might we might put you on some physical. I don't know. I just like I learned something new like every engagement, right? So yeah. I've been doing a lot of web app tests. I most recently I did this OSINT engagement that I thought was so cool because I've never, I've put my Google in, my my search engine skills to work in the past for like my family and friends, but I've never used it like for a client. And that was a lot of fun. I got this really cool book, it's just right up there. Like,
yeah, I saw the book on Twitter.
I have it right there.
Yeah.
But that was just so much fun. I don't know specifically, but I'm enjoying the internet, the OSINT portion of these engagements a lot more and more.
Okay. Well, right now I've been getting a lot into mobile pen testing, and I'm trying to learn how things work, because once you have everything set up, it's pretty much similar to web applications, okay? But the setup is like a pain in the ass sometimes because you have like so much versions of Android, and then you also have iOS, and you can work with emulators, or you can use real devices, and it's very interesting. Once you have everything set up and ready to go and to do your work, it's very fun. But the first part, the setup, it's very, very tedious sometimes because you have to like find a jailbreak version that works for that application specifically, and that's very hard sometimes. And sometimes clients want you to, let's say, bypass SSL pinning and all those kinds of protections that mobile apps have. And you have like 1 or 2 weeks to do the whole assessment. And you're like spending time on this thing that they could just remove for you to do the tests. And so, yeah, it has been a lot of fun. But I would say that web applications and more recently Active Directory have been also in my site because of the OSCP. And there's something that we can talk a little bit more down the line, because I'm curious about what you think of these new certification things, and if you're aiming to do any of those. But for now, I would say I would like to ask you, now that you're working in the real world per se, and some people like to say that that's the best way to get experience in this field, I bet you're still using the online learning platforms like TryHackMe, Hacktobox, or iKnee. So what are your favorite platforms for you to practice and learn at the moment?
At the moment, like the 3 that you just said,
okay.
I have existing access to. Okay. I don't like spending a lot of money. So I use those, but I love a good Humble Bundle, and
you're a book lover. You love books, right? Yay! Books are awesome.
But they are. Humble Bundle has, I'm sure everyone watching knows about Humble Bundle, but I'm prone to buying every single bundle that they have that potentially relates to anything I would find interesting at some point in my life. But they have the PDF versions that I'll put up on my desktop, and I mentioned this recently on LinkedIn. I will use like a read aloud feature so that I can hear it as well as read it, and then I'll use my other screen and like try to follow along. So I've been using books a lot more recently
Yeah.
than I had before.
But I love that you say that you talked about books, because I love books as well. I love reading. And let me just ask you, do you use, you probably are using books to learn more about pen testing and cybersecurity and all this stuff, because you were also reading other things before, right? Or
what do you mean?
Like
I
not related to specifically about cybersecurity or anything like that, just like sci-fi books or any novels or something like that. So you just enjoy reading,
Yeah.
and then you take advantage of that, and then you actually apply that to learn and to have one more resource to learn more about cybersecurity. I'm sorry, I was not very specific with the question.
No, that was my misunderstanding. Yeah, I love books. When I first got out of college, actually, I was determined to call myself a reader.
Okay.
So I finished 70 books that year, and then
Wow.
the next year I finished 70 books. And they were obviously not pen testing related, but I
Wow.
was like just determined to call myself a reader. And since then, it's been less a year. I've only finished, I think, 3 books total in 2022. So
Well, that's one per month. It's very good. Wow, 70
Right.
books. That's more than one book per week.
yeah, I was a little crazy with it. I didn't have the same real world obligations I do today.
Wow.
It's not very realistic for most people. But for a new college grad, sure, it's something I wanted to do.
And out of curiosity, what were you reading at that time?
A lot of help books, honestly.
Okay.
Business, finance, some like sci-fi. I read like the Game of Thrones series or
Okay.
A Song of Ice and Fire. Just a little bit of everything, because prior to that, it'd been a while since I'd read a lot.
And right now, do you prefer reading like physical books, like from paper, or do you like the PDF stuff and having everything, whatever you need, like on your phone, tablet, or PC? What do you prefer?
I do a little bit of all of it.
Okay,
I really
that's
do,
great.
because I have the PDFs I use for here, and then I was in Barnes and Noble yesterday. I got some books, and I was reading some physical books yesterday and this morning. But then I also use Audible and Libby. So I like the audiobooks as well.
Okay, those are great for running and to do exercise.
Yeah, I love to walk stairs with them.
Okay, okay. Well, for the physical books, for me, it's just I'm like craving for off-screen time sometimes, because I work full-time. I have my thing with content creation, and I spend a lot of time editing the videos, and my eyes sometimes like are just asking for just go outside, man, and look at the sun, or don't look at the sun, but just go outside.
Please
and
take a break.
yeah. So right now I appreciate the physical books more, but if you look at it, for the technical books of cybersecurity, they are very expensive, and the Humble Bundle comes like with so much value for the money you're paying, and I'm actually considering buying a Kindle for that, just to put the PDFs over there. Yeah, and I think that's a great option if you don't want to like stare at a blue light screen every day while you're reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, so when I was going through the PTS course, this was when it was all, it wasn't under INE yet, it was Learn Security, and they gave you the accompanying PDFs. But I used it for Humble Bundles as well. I had my little Kindle, and before I went to bed every night, I would try to like learn as much as I could.
That's awesome.
But yeah, because I didn't want that light, and that was like just the best option for me.
For sure. And right now, are you planning on taking any new certifications? And I know that after work, we already feel so tired of looking into bits and bytes. Are you considering anything more down the line, maybe?
Sure, maybe. Look, nothing's required for work right now.
Yeah.
And for work, we've got a lot of work, and I'm learning a lot on the job. So unless it comes up where it would be advantageous for me to work toward a specific certification,
Okay.
I probably won't. And because of that, just the monetary piece,
Okay.
I don't want to spend a lot of money if it's not required.
Yeah, me and John have a common problem. We are like treasure hunters, so we look at the certification like we have to get it. It's a problem. It's like a Pokemon, you know. You have to catch them all sometimes. But no.
I so respect that. I do.
Yeah, but it gets hard sometimes. I talk about this with Graham. It was like when I look at the OSCP syllabus and I look at the course, I was like, okay, I think 3 months is okay for me to go through this. But then I underrated the other amount of stuff that I have going on, like family stuff, friends, my YouTube channel, the full-time work, and also trying to get some time of sleep. And for the OSCP, something that is very complicated is that you have limited time for the labs, and it's very limited time because the course is very big. You have like PDF with 900 pages or 800 pages or something like that. Yeah. And that PDF is like 100 exercises, and those exercises are very time consuming. So let's say you finish your course exercises because you get like 10 free bonus points from that if you present those exercises in a report. Once you finish those exercises, there's no lab time left. So yeah, it's a race against the time, and it's very stressful. It's very stressful. Specifically, in my case, my employer is paying for the certification, so that's more pressure on me to go and get it. So it's very hard to manage these things sometimes. And I respect a lot what you said. If there's a real reason for me to get a certification, then I'll go for it. I think I have to adopt that strategy more.
No, because I still respect going and getting it because, you know, it's a structured path and you know that you've learned it in totality should you pass a certification. And there's so much merit in that. And I wish I had that drive after I close my laptop at the end of the day. I wish I wanted to open it back up and study for a cert. But right now I just want to like read or something else.
And enjoy yourself, and that's nothing wrong with that. I feel like one of the worst things that we can do in cybersecurity is think that we can do it all, and think that we can like pretty much be an expert on everything. Well, first of all, you can't be an expert on anything because things are always evolving, and it's very tough to even trying to comprehend the cybersecurity realm of things. It's just like it's so deep, and it's like a never-ending ocean. And that often leads to burnout. And I talk about that with John Hammond, and he was saying it's very hard for people cannot multitask. And so people have to be focused on one thing at a time. And if you're trying to do like a lot of things at a time, you're probably not doing any of those, or you're probably doing very poorly on every one of those things. So yeah, I'm trying to get this OffSec, offensive security, OSCP, out of my side. I'm trying to finish it and finish my master's degree as well. And then I think I'm going to take a little break. It's so much stuff.
In your master's too. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll need a break.
I'm trying to finish my master's thesis and doing the OSCP at the same time and working and creating videos. And I look at John Hammond and I say, how the heck does this guy do it? I said to him, you need like a Monster Energy like sponsorship because you're always on the go. I don't know how you can make it.
I asked him that too. I was like, what the heck are you doing? But I look at you and I think the same thing. You know, you're telling me that you're balancing all of these things with forward progress, and you're putting out content, and you've got your full-time job. Like, that's amazing. That is mind-blowing to me because I just told you, like, I'm not studying for even a cert outside of work right now.
Yeah.
I'm just studying in general, but I mean, that's amazing to me.
Well, it's very hard to manage, and especially when you have a family and everything, it's very hard to manage. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. as I go. Lily, can I ask you, how old are you? I don't know if that's okay or not.
I don't care.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
I'm 28.
Okay. So we are both young, so we have time. There's no need to rush things. I was talking
Right.
about this with Graham. So why the hell are we so like stressed out trying to compare our journey and our background and our accomplishments with other people? Like everyone has their own responsibilities and duties. So a couple of, I think, weeks ago, I shared. I did a tweet on Twitter, and I said something like, well, I just found out that me and John Hammond are the same age. Now all I'm missing is, and then I just like wrote every certification that he has and everything that he does. But I was actually joking. I was kidding, but people got really like offended. It was very very funny for me. But a lot of people were also very supportive, and they were saying, so make sure you just focus on your own journey. Try to learn every day. Keep looking forward. Fail fast, fail forward, and yeah, the community is very supportive. We have to look like to the positive side of things sometimes.
This community is what sucked me in from the beginning. And yeah, sure, there's toxic here and there, whatever. But if you're smart with your time and your energy, you learn how to block people and mute people pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
it becomes a lot more positive space.
It's very easy today to manage your timeline. You can just mute people. If you think that, oh, I'm not going to unfollow this guy because he's very like high standard on the community, and sometimes he posts or she posts very good content, and sometimes she or he is very toxic. Just mute and just mute them. And whenever you're interested in seeing the profile, just go there and see what they are saying. Because I feel like there's and I feel like there's people going through a lot of hard stuff sometimes, and they just take advantage of social media to like unload this depressive feeling that they are feeling because of things they are experiencing in life. And yeah,
I'll do that sometimes. Sorry to my followers.
Well, especially with the OSCP studies, that thing is kicking my butt, absolutely.
So that's relatable to so many people, though.
Absolutely.
You're like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. So whenever any opportunity comes up that makes sense for you in terms of certifications, you might consider it, right?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's all interesting. I'm sure I could learn something from pretty much any certification that's out there. It's just a matter of focusing my attention towards something for a reason.
Absolutely. And you have the experience that you had from the AJPT journey. And you know that you actually have to put a lot of time and dedication into it. So before you make that commitment, you already know what it takes. So I feel like you're taking a nice approach and you're thinking about it well.
Right. Well, and it, just like you said, like I did have to take a lot of focused time, and there were a couple months that I dedicated multiple hours every single day to learning, and I learn in my free time and on different various subjects, but I'm just not right now wanting to commit that much time every day towards something.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Now, what about conferences? Are you considering going to any conference this year, like DEF CON, for example?
DEF CON, that's one I always want to go to. I had so much fun last year. I went the year before. I attended the virtual 2020 conference. That was my first DEF CON experience.
Okay.
It was through Discord, and I loved it. And then I went in person last year, and I loved it.
Yeah.
As far as other conferences go, I'm sure lots of virtual ones. But in person, I don't know.
Yeah. I was considering going to DEF CON this year, but it's going to be tough because for people that are not in the US, it's very complicated because you have to get the visas, and you have the tickets are very expensive to fly from across the Atlantic to the US from Europe. And maybe next year. Graham said that he was going to pay for my dinner if I went. I hope he keeps his promise for 2023. But yeah, I would love to meet you guys, everyone, like you, John, Graham, the TCM. That would be awesome.
Right. I was very fortunate last year, so I had my company pay for it because I was behind a booth the whole time, so I didn't get the full DEF CON experience, but I made it work for me, and I got to meet in person the people that I had been friends with online for the previous year that I wanted to meet with. So I was very fortunate that way. But I mean, I wouldn't have been able to go last year if my company wasn't paying for it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the United States. I couldn't imagine being Portugal across the world.
It's not easy. I have to talk with my employer to see if they are willing to to sponsor that trip. That would be awesome. And I think it's different, right? I'm very in favor of remote work and like having these remote events. I think they are awesome. But I don't know why. When you meet with people in person, it's different. You have this connection, and I think you talked about that with John as well. It's this trust is a currency. I think those were your words. And when you meet someone in person, you get more of that currency, if you know what I mean. It's different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly what I feel like. And when you can look, it's one thing to be supporting someone, online forever, and like I think that builds a lot of trust, and like, but it is also different when you can look someone in the eyes and you can like feel what they're about and just like put them out.
Absolutely. Well, let's see what the future holds. Maybe an opportunity will come by. We never know. So now a little bit off topic when it comes to cybersecurity. I know that you like learning new languages. And I know that you were playing with Russian and Ukrainian, at least those two. And here I am trying to just be decent at English. So where did that interest come from to learn other languages? Because I think that's awesome. For real.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. I like the Duolingo app. They make it fun. But I was conversational in Spanish about a decade ago.
Okay.
It's been a while, but now I have some compañeros de Mexico. So I try to speak a little bit of Spanish with them. So I study Spanish, Russian, and Ukrainian on Duolingo.
Okay.
The Russian, I wanted to learn a new script, and one of my favorite books in college that I read was Crime and Punishment, and honestly, it was at DEF CON 2020, the virtual, that I was hearing so much about Russian cybercrime that I was like, I want to learn more about this in Russian, and I want to read Crime and Punishment in Russian. I actually have the book up there that I will read one day, but it's been a couple years learning Russian on the app, not consecutively, so I'm not that good. But I just started learning Ukrainian too, which is so fun. And I don't know, it's a fun brain exercise every day.
Yeah, and don't you think that a lot, most of times, is lost in translation? So you actually gain a lot if you actually understand the main language or the original language in which things were written on or recorded on, right?
Yeah, gosh, yes, so much. I can't wait to finally understand the intent behind things instead of, I'm in America, so the Americanized intent of things.
Yeah. And I want to ask your opinion on this because, as you know, I'm Portuguese. I'm from Portugal. And Portuguese is a very interesting language because it is spoken by, I think, 200 million people on the planet, because we have Brazil, we have Portugal, and then we have like some countries from Africa, like Mozambique, Angola. And so there's a lot of people that talk Portuguese, actually. And I was thinking about, because I saw that a lot of YouTubers are doing this and a lot of content creators, which is just recording the content in a second language. Because I feel like there's not enough content in Portuguese. And a lot of people here on our community already come and just asked me, why are you doing your content in English? Because there's no content about cybersecurity, or there's not much content about cybersecurity in Portuguese. And there's a lot of cybersecurity content in English. So yeah, I'm thinking about this, and I would like to ask you, what's your opinion on that? Would you feel that?
You should do it.
Okay.
I mean, if you feel like there's a need, and you feel like if it would have helped you out at any point, or if you knew a little bit less English, you feel like this is the gap that, you know, if there's a need, you should absolutely do it.
Yeah.
It'll, I think, help a lot of people in Brazil or Portugal or Mozambique.
Yeah. Well, my initial thought was that, okay, if I do the content in English, that will help me to develop my English. So that was my main purpose with doing content in English. But then I was like, okay, so I'm already doing this in English. I'm already writing scripts, and I don't write scripts like word for word, but I have like notes for me just to have a simple guideline of what I'm talking about. And I was thinking like, well, this would be a lot easier to record in Portuguese, because I could just hit record and talk, because it's my native language. And maybe if I just spend like 20 minutes more or 15 minutes more on this recording, I can produce like 2 separated videos, and I can add value to 2 separated communities. And I'm actually considering this very seriously, and let's see what I can do. Yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy learning, you know what I mean? So it's very hard sometimes to, okay, now I'm doing this. So you can't just go and start another like 20 side projects. It's very hard for me to manage that.
Yeah, no, I do that.
Yes, I do that too. Now, what about any other goals? And that could be related to everything. Doesn't have to be related to cybersecurity or learning new languages, for example. Do you have any like midterm goals you're trying to achieve? Are you getting ready for something or anything like that?
So a lot of my goals tend to be habit based.
Okay.
So I try to introduce habits and create a lifestyle that will help me achieve goals that way without burning out.
Wow.
And so
that's great.
That's where I've gotten into like, my reading and my language learning. I just do a little bit every day, and it does help greatly over the long run. Mm-hmm. But something I need a ton of help with is writing. I can't write to save my life. I have total anxiety around it. So a goal for me is to find a way to incorporate writing in my day that actually sticks, where I can actually produce content like you, maybe.
But are you thinking about starting journaling or doing anything like that? Okay.
Yeah, so I've done some journaling in the past, and that's helped, where, I try to create a minimum, or I try to write a minimum of half a page every day, no matter what it is. Mm-hmm. And, top of mind, just do something. And then I want to write articles.
Yeah.
And so I'm having a hard time translating things onto paper, because my brain just goes all kinds of crazy. Yeah, that's been a goal I've been struggling with for a long time, is the writing piece.
Yeah, that's a very Atomic Habits way of thinking, if you know what I mean. Like just adding little things to your lifestyle just to improve. Yeah, that's awesome. That's very interesting.
That book was like life-changing for me.
Yeah, that book is great. I actually listened to that book. I didn't read it, and the audio version is very good as well.
I think listened to it as well.
Really? Yeah, yeah. It was very nice. Some books are very hard to listen to. I don't know if that's a problem with the voice or like the speed at that they are reading, the speed rate. But some, I don't know. I don't know if it's about the book or not, but some books are difficult than others when it comes to just listening to it. I don't know if you have the same experience or not.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 51 minutes in our recording. Time flies.
I know.
What?
You're such a professional, David.
What? Why? Why you say that?
I'm telling you, I've been on this won't go in there, but I will say that I've been interviewed by some people that are just far less professional, and just all of this was a very pleasant, fun experience.
Oh, now you want me to cut this. This was the best compliment I ever got here on the podcast.
You can work where I'm not like bad-mouthing anyone.
No, you're not bad-mouthing anyone. It's just that, I don't know. I have this thing that I'm asking you to come here and have a conversation. So I want to make you feel, you and every guest, as comfortable as possible. So that's why I'm not making this live yet, because my English skills are not perfect, and sometimes I could just like ask a question and there's a misunderstanding there and it's weird, and like this we can do like whatever you want. We can just like hit the stop button and just like talk about, I don't know, Among Us or Counter-Strike or I don't know, any video game. Do you play video games? Yeah, that's a question. No? Okay, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. They are very addictive and very fun, and I love them, and I spend too much time there as well. Not anymore actually, but I used to.
Duolingo is my video game.
What?
Duolingo is my video game of choice.
Yeah. Now I have chess.com app on my phone, and that's a problem.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, do you know what I just downloaded or I just started playing more regularly is logic puzzles.
Okay.
I love logic puzzles. I'll be like walking to get coffee and I'm just like,
yeah. Yeah, I feel like chess is my logic puzzle, if you know what I mean. It's very you can play online with other people and it's very addictive, and sometimes you want to like crush your phone into a wall. Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking. But yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything you would like to speak or comment on? Because I have one last question that I want to ask you.
Okay. Let's see if I can think of anything. I am a brain dead person most of the time, so thank you for dealing with me.
No, you're doing great.
Nothing I can think of right now.
Okay, great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to ask you something, and don't feel pressured to come up with something philosophical or anything like that. So before we finish, I had this new idea that I got from a podcast that I listened to, and I would like to ask you to give me a question, so then I could ask that question to my next guest. And the thing is, you don't know who the guest is, so that could be very funny or not. I don't know. I'm trying to see if that's going to be interesting. So don't feel any kind of pressure at all. It could be anything. And then you'll see on the next episode what the guest will answer to your question. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So what do you got for me?
I would like to know what their favorite dinosaur is.
Okay. That's a great question.
Okay.
That would be a great question for John Hammond because of the Jurassic Park meme.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, it's not going to be him, unfortunately. And fortunately, not to talk anything bad about the next guest, but John is John, you know. I already told him we must have another opportunity to do round 2. Maybe after he does this new certification that he's going to do, which is the OSEE. I don't know if you know about this certification.
Yeah.
The Holy Grail. exploit expert. I think it's something
Yeah.
like that. Exploitment expert. It's something like that. It's like the holy grail of the offensive security certifications. You can only do the course on site on the DEF CON event. And yeah, you didn't know about that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's very exclusive. You cannot do it like remotely or on e-learning platforms or anything like that. It's presential.
Wow, high stakes.
Yeah. So I said to him, once you're finished with that, we have to do round 2 to talk about it. On how was the experience and everything like that.
Yeah, and offer some tips.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm very curious to know what it's like to be like in a room with all these like great pen testers, and they all struggling with these challenges. It must be like a single life experience that I can't even imagine.
Yeah, to be on that level.
Yeah, for sure.
One day.
Sure. One day.
One
Yeah.
day for us.
One day. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, Lily. I don't have anything else to ask you. I want to thank you once again for accepting my invite. Before seeing any episodes, before you were so kind and you just said yes and let's do it. So I appreciate you a lot. And I hope it was fun and I didn't waste a lot of your time.
This has been so much fun. Thanks for asking about like the language learning and books and stuff. I love these questions.
Yeah, I tried to learn a little bit about the person first. So it's not like just, oh, what certifications are you doing? And do you like pen testing? And there's value on that. But there's a lot of content on that already on the webs. So I want to learn a little bit about the person, not the pen tester, if you know what I mean.
It's genuinely so appreciated. Thank you.
Well, and I think we can wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, thank you, Lily, for being here. Just like I said to John and to Graham, I'm looking forward to our round 2, maybe more down the line. And yeah, I'll see you next one. Bye, guys.